Who's the dumbest person you've ever met? His name was Preston, and he was my roommate's brother. 28 years old, college educated, worked as a marketing manager at a decent firm. On paper, he seemed normal. In reality, he was dangerously stupid in ways that still baffle me. It started small. Preston visited our apartment and asked why we kept our butter in the fridge. It's dairy, I explained. It goes bad if you leave it out too long. No way, he said confidently. Butter comes from peanuts. That's why it's called peanut butter. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. He genuinely believed all butter originated from peanuts, and that regular butter was just peanut butter with the peanut flavor removed. We spent 30 minutes explaining cows, milk, churning. He left unconvinced, saying we'd been brainwashed by Big Dairy. A month later, Preston called at 2 a.m., frantic. He'd been trying to charge his phone by microwaving it. The internet said wireless charging uses waves, and microwaves make waves, he explained from his landline. His phone was destroyed, his microwave was sparking, and his kitchen smelled like burning plastic. But the incident that truly showed his stupidity happened during a family dinner. Preston announced he'd solved climate change. His solution? Everyone should just turn their air conditioners to heat in the summer and cool in the winter. Think about it, he said, genuinely proud. If we're all heating when it's hot and cooling when it's cold, it'll balance out the temperature everywhere. His father tried explaining thermodynamics. Preston countered that scientists overcomplicate things. It's like when you're in a pool, he said. If everyone swims in the same direction, the pool moves. Same with air. The scary part was his job. Preston created marketing campaigns, made presentations to clients, managed budgets. He once told me he'd convinced a client to spend $50,000 on a campaign targeting people who don't use the internet through Facebook ads. When I pointed out the flaw, he said, "That's the genius. We'll reach them when they eventually do get online." His romantic life was equally astounding. He dated a woman for 3 months before discovering she was pregnant. Not pregnant from him, 7 months pregnant when they met. He hadn't noticed. She wore loose clothes, he explained. When she gave birth, he was shocked it wasn't his baby. The math alone should have been obvious, but Preston insisted they needed a paternity test. The breaking point for my roommate came when Preston house sat for us. We returned to find he'd tried to water our artificial plants for a week, flooding the windowsill. He'd also thrown away all our ice because it was expired. He'd seen frost on it and assumed it had gone moldy. But here's the truly frustrating part. Preston wasn't intellectually disabled. He'd graduated college, could hold conversations, had a driver's license. He just refused to think critically about anything. When presented with evidence contradicting his beliefs, he'd dismiss it as conspiracy or overthinking. His stupidity was aggressive, proud, weaponized. He'd argue with experts, dismiss science, trust random internet posts over verified sources. He once tried to perform surgery on his ingrown toenail after watching a YouTube video, ended up in the ER with a severe infection, and blamed the doctor for not letting the wound breathe. I asked my roommate once how Preston survived childhood. Apparently their parents had money and constantly bailed him out of problems. Private tutors, paid off teachers, jobs through connections. Preston never faced consequences for being wrong, so he never learned to question himself. That's what made Preston the dumbest person I've ever met. Not just his ignorance, but his absolute certainty that everyone else was wrong.